Hi, I'm Annabelle Whatmough, Head of Future Frameworks in the Trademark and Design Policy team here at the Intellectual Property Office. As part of my role, I work closely with brand owners and their representatives, and to mark 150 years of the Trademark Registry, I'm delighted to be joined today by someone who represents some of the best known brands in the UK, Tom Reynolds, who has recently taken up the role of CEO of the British Brands Group. Tom, it's lovely to meet you and thank you for joining me today at our Newport office.
Oh, thanks for the welcome, Anne.
Perhaps I could start with asking you to tell us a bit about the British Brands Group, who you represent and your role within the organisation.
Yeah, certainly. The British Brands Group is a not-for-profit membership organisation made up of brand owners who operate in the fast-moving consumer goods space. So the consumer packaged goods that you buy from the superstore, some of the biggest brands are within our membership. And the reason we exist is to promote the brand business model because of what it can deliver for consumers here in the UK and try and build a climate that works for brands within the UK marketplace.
It's clear that you have a lot of expertise with working with a wide range of brands and successful brands. So given your expertise, I would be really interested to get your take on what you think makes a good brand.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first thing that makes a good brand is the way that it sits in the hearts and minds of consumers, because that's by and away the most important element of brand. So that starts with the provenance and the quality of the product being placed on the market by the brand owner, and then how does it get into the minds of the consumer before they go to the shop and then when they're in the store, and that's all around the distinctiveness of the marketing, of the packaging and of the product itself. So that it's distinctiveness that makes a great brand.
So we have the key ingredients as to what makes a good brand. What can brand owners do to make sure that their brand is successful?
Well, all of that investment in creating distinctive brand assets requires protection of those assets, and the different intellectual property rights that exist in the UK exist for a reason. It's so that businesses can have the confidence to make those investments. So exploring and ensuring that companies know the rights that they are entitled to and the way that they can register to protect those rights is really important.
You mentioned in your answer just then about the importance of legal protections and trademarks. Could I delve into that in a bit more depth, please? It would be really good to hear from you on what you think the importance is of trademarks to British Brands Group members.
Yeah, well, trademarks are integral to the distinctiveness of brands. I live in Staffordshire and I got a real kick out of visiting your lobby downstairs and seeing the very first trademark registration, which is of a Staffordshire brand, the Bass Brewery. That is the start really of the trademark protection here in the UK, and it's really fundamental that there is a single source of truth around who owns the distinctive trademark asset. So trademark protection through that registry and the ability to enforce those rights is really important.
So we've seen a lot of change over the last 150 years. It would be really good to hear from you on what you think the future holds for trademarks. What are the next 150 years going to look like?
Yeah, well, I think we've already in recent years seen the evolution of trademarks where moving files and video images can now be registered as trademarks. So there's already been some evolution from the very static marks of the past. I think with the generation of information technology, the very rapid evolution of AI, I think this all feeds into trademarks and how they may be both created and protected in the future.
How do you think that brands will shift to adapt to things like AI and perhaps other challenges like changes in the environment, for instance, and sustainability?
I think it is a big opportunity because in the kind of world that we're living in at the moment, there is a kind of breakdown in trust in a lot of what we as consumers and shoppers see in the real world, but also in the online space. And what brands consistently have proven is that they are trusted by consumers. So I think that's really where the positive future for brands lies. It's that ability to deliver real trust and assurance to consumers.
Tom, thank you so much for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I found that really insightful, and I know that others will too. And I'm really looking forward to working with you more closely going forwards.
Yeah, thanks, Annabelle.
Thank you.